Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another podcast episode on this here channel. We're back with two episodes back to back because I kind of feel like I'm running out of story time. I'm never really out, but sometimes they just got to come back to me. And I already had these thoughts in my head, so why not record it and let it out? So, two things sparked these conversations and my thoughts about nuance as a survivor of an abusive relationship, of SA, of stuff like that. I seen someone on TikTok with a similar opinion on the book The Body Keeps the Score. I started talking about my story, my experience, maybe like 6 months after it happened, slowly telling people around me, slowly making videos, because I'd been making videos this whole time, but I just never really spoke on that. And I remember someone recommended that book to me, and I was like, okay, period. I'm going to put it on the birthday list. It's a very famous book, lots of information, and when I got it, I read about a third of it, and I did not like it. Okay? I didn't like it, which a lot of people get it. They're like, it's such good information. They like it, all the things. I felt like when I was in a really emotionally charged state, I should have not been reading that book because that book made me more emotional. This isn't a shot to the author or to the book, but this is just my personal opinion as someone who has been through these things that the book talks about, not about the author who is helping people through the things I've been through, like apparently. I was reading the book and the author who's like a therapist, I think he's a psychologist, like I think he has like titles above therapy, but basically talks about his clients and the sessions with them. And one of his clients was literally a pissed. Oh, I was like, wait, I I thought I was reading this to help myself. One of the clients was literally a therapist that he was helping, who was seeking uh help and came in for PTSD, like a military guy, basically. Y'all know the story if you're American too. Military guy who went to other countries and did that to a bunch of women in other countries and came back and is like, oh, I'm so messed up. That was his client. And I'm like, this is not helpful as a victim to me reading a book looking for help and then the book is about helping the abuser. And maybe I just didn't finish the book. So that was one example that popped into my head. Of course, the other one, the internet always got something to say. So this other video came up on my feed. It was like this guy talking about abuse, and he was like calling all abusers evil or saying that they're just bad people and not just like they could be good people who do bad things is not helpful to the healing process because there's a lot of nuance in black and white, and it's not going to help your healing process. Okay. Again, I'm irritated because why are we always telling victims what they need to do instead of telling abusers what they need to do? Okay, so I literally like I left a comment. I was getting a lot of likes, but I was also getting a lot of pushback from the creator and from other people where I was like, basically like, people like you are problematic because why are you more focused on the mind of the abuser and coddling them and giving them the benefit of the doubt than talking about the victim? Like, that's very weird. And I remember he responded back and he was like, I wasn't saying to the point of where you forgive them. I've been through abuse too, blah blah. And of course a bunch of other men were responding and were like, she didn't even watch the video, like she's just being so emotionally charged. Okay. And I don't get like, I'm not very emotionally charged when it comes to my trauma as of right now. But if that's what you want to call me, I'll be happy to wear the title because I should be angry, pissed off, and everything in between. The fact that I have a story, I think statistics say 1/3 of women have a story. We keep seeing these disgusting cases in our news, from Cassie to David being on trial to this other girl I just watched in true crime. Like, I don't care if you think I'm emotionally charged. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. And again, people with those opinions who are like, they don't have to be bad people. Sometimes they just do bad things. You're the reason the cycle keeps continuing. And I stand on that. And so I made a little short on my TikTok slash Instagram about how I felt about this. But basically, these examples of like reading that book and how I felt like it wasn't helpful when I was in an emotionally charged state, and then being in the comments and of that one video made me think of like how I hate and am so tired of some of these conversations surrounding abuse. Because victims, survivors, whatever you want to call us, we don't need nuance and understand the mind of an abuser and understand why they do the. No, why is the nuance always focused on, like I said, the person doing the harm, not the person harmed? The first thing you will say is, let's try to figure out why they did that before you give healing resources and stuff to victims and give them the space. Like, and I think it's really, really irritating because I'm 23 years old. The first time I got essayed was when I was 19. It was going on to me from 19 to 20 from a partner I was with. And so that means I've been healing for 3 to 4 years. I've had everything in between. I've had emotionally charged reactions to everybody, and I've been sad, I've been angry, I've been everything in between. And I feel very like I've came such a long way. Like I said, I don't feel as emotionally charged in these conversations. I think anyone who's emotionally charged in these conversations, like depending on the extent too, is very valid. Because like I said, like why would this not piss you off? Okay. Oh, that's just what happens. That's what happens sometimes. Okay. Okay. And in my healing process, I have gone to therapy. I've confided in friends who were supportive. I've confided in family that sometimes helped out and sometimes pissed me off more. And most of all, like, which is why I love making videos, I watched so many videos of other survivors sharing their story, validating me, super similar, right? Because everyone's story is different. It happens to them from different people. Like, I felt so gaslit being essayed by someone that was my boyfriend that I was also doing consensual stuff with. I felt so gaslit and insane because they're obviously telling you that so you don't stray away too far. And like so many people on the internet and stories have like validated how I felt, and especially my therapist. I love that woman. If I still had 150 a week, I'd probably be in there. Or if it gets too much, I might be back in there. But people validating me and sharing similar stories and being like, yeah, you should feel however you want to feel. You should feel sad, pissed off. You should share when you want to share, blah, blah, blah. All those things of like victim first. Okay, person harmed first. What can I do to help? What would you like to hear? I'm here to listen, not to tell you what to do. That is what made me feel better. Not, but what if the abuser went through something bad that made them feel that way? That is so many people's first responses. And I've heard it before. I've heard it before, right? And my thing about that, you know, depending on different people who have had different dynamics, like I said, some people, this abuse happens to them from different people, different time periods. But whenever I see videos like that of like, but what made the abuser like that? It's not always like that. They're not always aware of what they're doing. Blah, blah, blah. I'm the first to tell you I don't give about the nuance. I don't and don't. And it's not because, even though I don't like the word like heartless or whatever, oh, you're not thinking there's two sides to every story. Shut the fuck up. Okay? It's not because that. It's because when I was actively being abused and couldn't put words to my story and all that, that is where I was at. I was at, but he's just going through so much. Like, he was abused by his dad. Like, he's going through a lot. Like, he's had weird experiences. Like, he's stressed because of this. He's stressed. He doesn't eat that much, blah, blah, blah. Like, one thing that I hate and love, hate love relationship about myself, or quality about myself in relationships is I feel like I'm not a patient person, but ooh, do I put the P in patience when I'm with the man I love? Like, I feel like I'm so like, no, yeah, I get it. No, yeah, I get it. Like when people tell abusers when they're trying to heal, oh, there's a side to every story. Do you don't think we've thought about that? When I was in it, when I'm with these gas men, that's what I'm always thinking. They're rude, they're disrespectful, they're abusive, but this happened to them when they're a kid, but they were raised by someone like that, but da, da, da. That's always what I think. Like, it is wrong, but then I would make excuses like, but I also understand where it's coming from and blah, 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 blah. I don't have to be understanding, especially to someone that harmed me, especially to someone I'm not with anymore. And people stay trying to make victims, especially women, understanding to the depths of time. And I'm fucking over it. I'm over it. And you should be over it too. Nuance is not helpful. And maybe some people would agree, but I feel like, again, even though I guess I'm only a couple years out, I probably still have a lot of healing to go through. I think a lot of other people, when you reach my state of healing, you would feel the same way. Because you don't have to give up about your abuser. You don't. You don't. Like, you don't. How considerate were they when they were abusing you? Okay. Oh, people don't always understand what they're doing. Even though when I was in my abusive relationship, dealing with full harassment all the time, emotional abuse, and then the literal essay, I didn't have exact words to call it like, you're doing this to me. You're doing this to me against my will. I had the language I had at the time. Like, this makes me feel uncomfortable. Can you stop this? I don't like how you're always like harassing me for things after I said no, or you treat me really different and aggressive or something if I do say no when he didn't just take what he want. Like, I said those things. And even to people who don't, oh, but she never said anything. After someone tells you no or tells you right now, are you supposed to ask them 10 more times? Are you supposed to just take what you want? I literally seen a video and I was like, It was a guy in response to the term of fawning. You know how that is something that goes on when it comes to sexual violence of like, oh, but she didn't leave or she didn't fight me or throw me off or whatever. Shh. She already said no 3 times and you just took it. What is she's so this guy was like, if a guy and you don't choose to leave, that's not that you're just dumb. Like you're just trying to make a mistake. If you didn't leave or you didn't blah blah blah. And then a girl stitched this dumbass guy and was like, so if someone comes up to you with the to rob you and they're like, give me your wallet or I'm gonna give it to me. And you give it to them, they didn't rob you. You handed it over, right? Right? You're gonna say no. They did rob me because they literally threatened me, and I had no other choice. Oh, okay. But when it comes to women and sexual violence, you don't get it. But no, like yeah, if someone did that too, you didn't get robbed because you just handed it over, right? By your logic, that is what. And it's like, why do we have to have these examples for you to understand? Or you could just look at women as people and shut the fuck up with dumbass opinions. Hello? So yeah, when I was in it, I didn't have the language to be like, you're saying me, this is against my will. But like I said, I did have some words of expressing my uncomfortability, pointing out how you treat me different if I say no, blah, blah. And what was I met with? Women are scary. This is not funny. Y'all know so we have to laugh to cope. But my ex, like that was his favorite line, which is why I encourage young women to unpack their internalized misogyny and misogyny in general because it's everywhere to know when you're with a misogynistic man. Like when I look back at my abuser, no wonder he was abusive and a fist. He was misogynistic as hell. The stuff he would say about women, like I said, that was his favorite thing. Women are crazy. Women are scary. Like, what are you trying to say right now? Like, okay, we should just never have sleepovers again. Like, what are you trying to say right now? Women are scary. Because what are you saying? That was his favorite line. And when I'm kind of isolated, I was in a tough spot with my family. I didn't really have like a close friend or anything. It's very easy to just be like, oh, okay, never bring that up again or believe like, yeah, I am crazy. I am doing too much because like that's my closest source. Especially if someone who's like, I love you, I care about you, I look out for you, I'll always be honest with you. So, yeah, you hear that so many times. I hear I'm such a bad person so many times. I hear I'm not worthy of things this many times, but blah, 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 you start to believe it, right? That's where the emotional abuse came in. So, yeah, okay, that ponytail was low key hurting my head. But anyway, yeah, I don't appreciate nuance. Like, oh, did you know? But did you know most abusers were abused too? Yes, that's a very common fact. That's a very common fact, and I don't care because did you also know tons of people who go through different kinds of abuse their whole childhood, blah, blah, blah. And what did they do? They learn so bad from their other pain and just aren't those types of people in their hearts that they never do it to anyone. She's right here. I know other people. This has happened to me and this has happened to me, and oh, did they do it to someone else? No. So it's very much possible. People still have choices, and I don't care about the nuance. Like, I truly don't. Like, and I don't have to. And if you're someone with a similar story, you don't have to either. Speaking of the internet, I know this is a very touchy subject when it comes to like children in this experience and stuff, but I literally remember y'all, there was this one guy I was following on TikTok. This probably happened like a year ago. I don't know if anyone knows who he is. I feel like he wasn't too big, but I found him like funny, stuff like, and basically he was going through this whole like family drama with his mom and going back and forth and making videos about his childhood and stuff like that. And then his mom made a video about back in response, talking about how the mama was crazy. It was like abuse on both sides, right? Mama was crazy. It didn't seem like a good mom. Then the mom made a video back and was like, you're talking about all the essay you dealt with as a child, but you're not talking about how when you were a kid and when you were the older kid, you were doing that to your cousins, siblings, or whatever, too. Why don't you tell the internet about that? Okay, I'm gagged, right? Like just hard, disgusting all around. And I remember like, okay, I'm watching these videos and I see him stitch his mom and he makes a whole video where he's like, no one can make me feel bad for what I did because at the end of the day, that's what was getting done to me too. So no, I don't feel bad. I don't feel shame about that part of my life and what I used to do. Are you cool? Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Are you cool? Who? This man is saying he doesn't feel bad for being pissed, for being something starting with a P. Oh, because it happened to me. This is exactly why I feel like nuance is very dangerous. Because what the fuck are you talking about? I unfollowed him that day. Because are you cool? Like, are you cool? And a lot of people who live in this victim mentality and nuance and this can happen and people change. That is why the cycle keeps repeating. And this is why I don't think nuance is a good thing. And of course, this is all just my opinion. Some people might find it helpful to hear all sides of the stories, hear the mind of why people do this and this and this and that. That's all based on your personal experience, but genuinely signing off as a very angry woman who is tired of everything, tired of these cycles continuing. I don't think it's I don't think it's helpful because, like I said, everybody has choices, and like honestly, when it comes to conversations that are not about abuse, um, whether it's harm, like I said, it's just all up to the person. Like nuance can be helpful, can explain a lot of things. You grew up this way. Um, I've talked about personal stuff before. I'm like, I feel like I used to be so like have no emotional regulation, especially in my first relationship. I was like rude, demanding, like putting way too much on the other person because I grew up in a household like that where there was no consequences, and that's just the way I am. And no, that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have balance, like stick up for yourself, but also time, place, how you say it, communication is key. All those things matter. And hey, if the guy I was with at that time would have been like, I don't really care about where this comes from, you're just rude and you need to fix that, that would have been valid. Because again, how is that like, again, as someone who has been way too patient in relationships, in my relationships with men, again, that is the point I'm at the older I get. And how is that my problem? And how is that my problem? Especially the closer we get to 25, that brain fully developing, everyone has the choice to hold themselves accountable. People, like I said, with the nuance, people love to blame it on age, whatever, whatever. It's not, it's literally about the person. It's literally about the person. And yeah, how can we be helpful? You can support survivors in their rage. Because I have a video literally called, it's something about rage. I'll plug it. But it was about this one therapy session I had with my therapist and how she was saying me feeling angry is very, very healthy to my healing process because, again, I should be angry and everything should make me upset and I should want to stick up for myself. Like, I hate this culture of nuance and two sides to every story because it breeds victim blaming, and I stand on that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to another podcast episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Check out souliiibyalisha on Instagram because I'm recording this Sunday and my business/shirt drops tomorrow on Monday, the 27th. Do you have anything else to say to the people since you crashed my filming session? No? Sully, what about you? Okay, bye.